Shalom, this Shemot. Starting off by giving all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Akwadash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, rule well, and the Shemayim. Double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, rule well and teach well, showing forth the correct doctrine, you know, uh, you know, and helping Yahweh Shai to, and sealing the elect through the spirit of empower Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the brothers across the four corners of the earth. Push the word in truth and sincerity, making the call and election sure. This as well as a few sisters might be listening and learning. See you, I say Shalom. And just get right into it, I got a prison testimony. I've been having trouble with my BM, and really I've been trying to stay away from her, She got my son, but I just have faith with that. I try not to overwhelm myself because knowing these women, they'll try to use your children to destroy you. Use anything that they on Esau's side. In a lot of cases, these women they got the mindset of Esau. They use anything in this world, even when it comes down to your seed, to destroy you. Because they have the privilege. They have that one step over through the power of Esau, because this whole kingdom is based upon woman worship. So I try to keep my distance even with that, and just trust that Yahweh Shai deliver my son. At that, um, at the same time, knowing these women, they're probably not even my son, but but anyway, that's not even funny. But yeah, turns out she ended up putting a warrant out for my arrest, and I know her, and I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I know like this warrant was based upon the intentions of something else. It wasn't. I'm gonna just say I know. I'm gonna just put it like this. I know that I didn't do what was signed upon that, cause if I know that I didn't do, I know I was innocent according to what was written on the paper, and with that integrity, I wanted to get the fuck out of there, man. I got arrested coming from work, and I had to go there on a Friday. They had us sitting in there on a Friday, and there wasn't no court uh attorneys there that Friday night. So I had to stay there on Saturday and Sunday, and for most of the day on Monday, just to get out, knowing I didn't do anything. And what makes matters worse, when I got there, they always complain about max. I mean, they always complain about 19 this, 19 that, and you know what I mean when I say 19. Crown Royal 19 this. Oh, the numbers are going up. We have to do this. We have to do that. But the way they had us stacked in there, they don't give a. They wouldn't. And if you would have seen, you would have known that they don't give a damn about no fucking Crown Royal. Excuse my language. And they had us waiting in there for hours upon hours upon hours, to the point to where a lot of us started trying to sleep on a concrete cold floor, man. So when I was in there, I was trying to get some sleep on the floor, and I couldn't go to sleep all the way. I was like halfway asleep, halfway not. So when they finally started calling people, and when I got up in there, they ain't had nothing but nigga women and Edomite women in there working. So you know how it was in there. And so when they finally started calling people, I finally got out of there. and they was talking about some medical stuff. Sign this for free medical services, and I didn't I was like I was trying not to bug out, because I was like, man, this all a test of y'all about y'all shot, but I was like kind of like losing it unknowingly. In my mind, I thought I was like just in my right mind, but now when I started to think about it, I knew it was going astray. But I was looking at the paper, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And she was like, it's just free medical services and all that." And I was like, I'm not signing that. But she kind of bribed me again. She said, "But it's free medical service. What if you get stabbed? What if this and that?" And so I ended up signing it. And but she said that she was busy, so she made the police take me back inside her room. And I started to get frustrated. I said, "Man, I'm in here sleeping on the floor, man." But I had to calm down because I knew I was going off. The scripture say, "Be of a handful." The scripture, rough paraphrase, the scripture talk about having a handful and quietness. It's better to have a handful and quietness, you know. But rough paraphrase. So I went back in there and I laid on the floor and waited, some more time until he finally called me again. And when I got in there, she pretty much was finishing up on, but when they made me go back in there, I started to meditate because I started like I ain't had nothing to think about, so I just started thinking about I was, and plus I heard some guys in there talking about if you stay in here for a week, you gotta get what's that word, um shit, you gotta get quarantine, and then they gonna give you a shot and this and that, and I heard guys talking about, man, I ain't taking that shot, and it just instantly hit me like, hell no, I gotta get to that paper that I signed. And so when they finally let me out to talk to the nurse again, which took hours just to get to her, but anyway, I was like looking at the paper, and she was talking to me, finishing up on, do you have this? Do you have that? Have you been in contact with anybody? Blah 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 blah. And I said no, no, no. And then after it was all done, cause I was tempted to rip the paper up, but since all the questions were done, I'm like, all right, it's all right, I ain't gonna do it. But then she had said, well, I'm just gonna check. I'm just gonna take this, and then that's when I got back on 10. I'm like, what is that? And then she had a needle, and I was like, man, I ain't gonna be overrighteous. I'm just stick my arm out. And she said it's something, whatever the heck it was. I don't know what the heck it was, but it was something to test if I had something. So she said she was taking something, so I'm thinking that she gonna take some blood, but she ended up putting something in my arm, real quick. And she told me if it swell up like a mosquito bite, then get back and contact me. And I asked her again. I said, what the hell is this? And she said it's nothing. And so I got pissed off. She came back over there and bent over in front of my face with my papers in front of her in her hands. And I took those. I said, can I see those papers? She said no. And I took the papers out of her hand. I looked around. I took a quick look around and I snatched the paper out of her hand and I ripped it up. And she like before I could even start ripping the papers up, she immediately ran to her next door office and said, "Oh, he grabbed my hand. He grabbed my hand. Oh, he and all this." And I wasn't really phased. I was too busy ripping the paper up. But when a security guard came over there, they put me in this little room. You know, uh, she was pretty much causing a big panic, saying that I grabbed her hand, which I knew I didn't grab her hand. That wasn't my intention. It wasn't nothing personal against her. It was just the fact that I wasn't trusting the anything free as far as medical services from them, especially with the experiences that I was having with them as soon as I got up in there. But I might have been being overzealous. I was asking the Lord for forgiveness or whatever. But It was just I was low on sleep, and you know how that can get. But yeah, so they put me in the hole, and the police came. Like, more officers came, and they put me against the wall, and they talked to me. They knew I was like calm, and I wasn't really on nothing. But that situation caused me to have to go in a spot where that situation alone caused me to have to go to one of the worst places in the prison, which was not the box or whatever the hell they call it, but one of the cells, which the cell is like a really small room. The bed is small, and they gave me two covers, which was small, and I'm already small, so those covers was. I'm not small, but I'm like not the tallest guy, but so those covers was not that big, man. But yeah, so and I was meditating, on as much scripture as I could, because I'm like, well, I don't know how long I'm being here because ain't no Saturday judges, so I'm gonna have to sit in here and wait, and I don't know if I don't know how this works, so I don't know if they have Sunday judges. So I probably have to wait until Monday, which that's not something I wanted to do while I was sitting in that cell thinking about waiting or think about not knowing what was gonna happen next or how long I was gonna have to wait in there. But uh, so I got in the cell, and yeah, Jake was in there, and Jake in there crazy as hell, man, bugging out, which I see why, because the eyes are the window to the soul, man, and you don't really see nothing in there, but just a box that you have to sit and be contained in there, then it can bug you out, you know. That stuff can really bug you out, but they try to make it seem like Jake's so wicked, which he is. But these niggas, they helping they feed him the cup even more, man. You know, but you have Jake kicking the doors, like those cell doors was like locked, like they was tough doors, But you had one of the Jakes, he wasn't having his way in there because Esau wasn't he ain't treating him right in there, and he kicked the door open, man. And those things are tough, man. He was sitting there kicking it for a little while, and after a while, them screws came off. He was in there walking through the room, because they got like a gate, that electronic gate, that leads to the room where all the cell rooms are. He kicked the room open, and he was just walking through there, on the other side of the, on the other side of the gate, man. So that made me think like, hey, when Lord put that spirit on Jake, man, Jake is gonna tear this place up, man. But he's sharpening his sword for the slaughter as well, because while I was in there, I was getting some insiders on how pretty much E is sweeping a lot of the streets, for Jake's carrying sealed weapons without no license and stuff like that. E is now E is moving to the point to where he's sweeping Jake off the street, and throwing him in prison and giving them these high bonds because they got weapons that they ain't in the in correct so-called correct custody. But but yeah, man, the testimony. This is my testimony of being in prison. For the first time or whatever, and yeah, man, just. Oh yeah, but the last part, I'm gonna skip most of it, because I think I've spoken for too long. This thing not really about so much as speaking, but it's really about the scripture. So at the end of the whole thing, you know, cause I had my court, and I'm thinking we gonna get out of there in 3 hours, 6 hours or whatever, and I ain't know what time it was. So when I'm in there, I started kind of bugging out, man. The flesh really started doing some crazy ass shit, like some crazy stuff started coming to mind, man. It was nothing to look at, but free Tato and all the wicked ass shit on the wall. But other than that, it was like I was, it was like, it was really nothing to look at. It was nothing to listen to besides Jake screaming out, um, simple dumb stuff out of the his chambers or whatever. So it was just like, man, I just started feeling myself bug out more and more as the time progressed, man, because it was no, it was nothing spiritual going on, man. It was just complete. Like I can't watch no lessons or nothing like that. So the more and more I was in there, the more and more I knew I was just gonna keep bugging out and bugging out. So I started praying to the Lord more and more. And then at the end of it, man, I'm like, man, cause I was like, man, I'm really bugging out in here, and I don't want to bug out to the point to where I'm getting impatient. So I just started praying. I was like, man, since I ain't got nothing to do, I'm just start praying to the Lord, and I just started crying out to the Lord. And I just kept praying and praying and praying until I just kept. I ain't had really had. If I felt like I ain't really had nothing to pray for, I thought of something that I might need that I pray for, and I just kept praying and praying and praying, and I didn't stop praying, man. And I just kept calling on the name of the Lord for this, and right after that, I called on the name of the Lord for that, and then right after that, I called on the name of the Lord for this, and I just kept doing it, and sure enough, man. When I kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and I felt like I was really getting to the point to where I ain't got nothing to pray for, I just kept bugging the Lord. Somebody came and knocked on the door, and he said it's time to go. You know, and that was the best feeling ever, man. I was trying to wipe the tears off my eyes and stuff like that, so I wasn't looking like no sucker and then coming out of the cell. But yeah, man, it was a beautiful feeling just to know that Yahweh Shai is watching us and he know what's going on and he know that what we going through. You know. He know exactly what we're going through. He know exactly what we're dealing with. What tribulations we're going through, what hardships we go through, and how we feel when we go through those things. You know, this book of Revelation, chapter 2, in verse 10, it says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Yeah, so the Lord told us to be faithful unto death, man, because it's gonna come a time to where that little 3 days I took wasn't nothing, man. Brothers gonna go in there for like the scriptures say 10 days, man. You don't know how long that 10 days will be, and you know how the situation is gonna be, man. You know, so but he said be faithful unto death, and he'll give us a crown of life, man. You know. So, we just gotta keep that trust in Yahweh Shem Yahshua, keep that faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshua, and he gonna give us a crown of life because, we like brothers to him, man. As far as the suffering thing goes, man. He came down here and suffered, so he know Yahshua, he know how it is when we down here suffering. But Yahshua, he did his time. He stayed faithful unto death. So he told us to do the same thing. Whatever our death is, whether we be mortar or whether family turn against or whatever our death is, we have to be faithful, unto it, man, and to the end of it. And he'll give us that crown of life at the end of the day, you know. And this is just my testimony, Salakia for being so long. But uh yeah, just my testimony, going to prison and knowing in my spirit that I was innocent and I didn't do the things. And just bearing all of those wicked ass folks in there, especially Eve, man. Eve gotta get destroyed, man. Eve loved the serpent so goddamn much, man. She's so boasted up and that Edomite pride, man. She loved that American pride, man. You know, these 2/3 had to fucking go, man. You know, they be acting fucking worse than Esau, man. Real talk. And Lord, he mad. He salty at that shit. And these niggas gonna go. These niggas gonna get destroyed, man. You know? And we not gonna have no sympathy for you 2/3, man, because you had the time to get right, but you wanted to indulge in the wickedness of this kingdom, man. You wanted to do it so bad to the point to where you was forget your own, not, really hearken to your power, man. So we not gonna have no pity upon you when the Lord bring that his wrath upon you, man. His wrath of jealousy upon you, man. You know? Especially a lot of you women, man, because there's more women than men, and a woman is more wicked, man. Because she weaker. But you know, yeah, man, Lord, he about to he see the wickedness of E, man. You know, and while I was in there, Jake is really fucked up in there, man. You know, he really just this whole system is just a monopoly money game. It's a money crash. I mean, money run, man. This guy, he is really covetous. The scripture talk about, you know, the scripture say, he is never satisfied, man. Even off of the sufferings of the people who you've been destroying for centuries, still never satisfied, man. You have to, dude. You gonna know what that feels like to have to sit in an enclosed area, for a long time, man. You know, but I don't wanna, rant. Slovakia. Just I'm just glad, and it brought me to tears, man. While I was in there, I was getting teary eyed because it was like, man, we really at the end of this thing, man. You know, I was meditating on that, like we really at the end of this thing, and that's one of the most beautiful things that's one of the most beautiful feelings I ever experienced, just knowing that we at the end of our captivity and we almost out of here. You know, but yeah, man, Lord's willing, this is edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.